What up, Sam? Sim in the spot, cooling out. Um, just got off of work, taking off this fucking button up real quick, so I get on my grizzly. All right. So lately I've been doing a lot of these fucking panels, right? And when I would post my videos, sometimes I would see uh, people live, and I would go over there and check them out, and I'm like, damn, man, how the fuck they do that? So eventually I figured out the whole thing about Google Hangouts, and then all of a sudden I was able to take and get on some of these panels. Um, One thing I learned about a few people who I've known for years is that it's not all what it's cracked up to be. I notice a lot of these dudes, like even in recent times of me, like just hearing them speak and being able to speak to them. And then it extends from even there. It's like it's not what it's cracked up to be. So last night I was on Ren's channel, the Neutral Zone, and I've sit in now. We got into it. Shout out to Q Butter. I see you subbed, and I subbed back. So the one thing like I noticed with a lot of people, and I've always said this, people are always issue based. They always want to sit up here and talk about the percentages. The reason why it's because of this. They want to talk about these other issues. This is why black people are the way they are, and it's never a solution. And I've already said that motherfuckers just don't want to go out and just do the job and shit. Um, got a couple calls today actually. A few dudes hit me up, couple other people hit me up, and they were like, you really did your thing on Rand's panel. I was just heated yesterday, man. um and I know Obsidian is leaving and he's going over to Black Avengers and shit, so I was like, man, let me catch up with him one more time. And I got love for Obsidian. I mean, a lot of things he says is true. The weirdest thing about it is today he actually mentioned my name about 3 times on Ren's panel, and then he, started mentioning some of the things I said, and I guess it took him a night to understand it and agree to some of it. Now I was like, man, he wasn't talking this shit yesterday. So I mean, like I said, I've always, looked at the old man as, a dude who understood what was going on. He reads a lot of books, but yeah, at the end of the day, you're mad because this is the way it is now, and you can't benefit from it. Unfortunately, we just cannot, man. When you talk about attitudes of women and the overweight, we can talk about all of that, but the standards aren't there. I think it's just time for us to just mix the medicine with the food. The small percentages of us who understand the problem and also have solutions to it. I do see that these panels are popularity contests. I do see that there's other sectors in Black YouTube that are infiltrating the manosphere. Because when I came on 5 years ago, I was listening previously to that, and I was just told by a couple of other people who I know who were on YouTube at the time, who I was able to run into. We've had like these strong debates and conversations and shit, and we just had this small little group, right? So then the group, they were the originators, and at that time I was like, I didn't really have the time to really do it, and then I just started noticing that the manosphere was growing, and I was like, damn, maybe I should. And I took a year off of YouTube, but coming back to YouTube, you know, for my season 3, season 4, it's just been weird. It's been really weird. I've seen a lot of beef go on, and the alliances that are made, man, it's weird to me. Like I missed out on a year, and then I came back, and people were like, "Damn, Sam, I haven't seen you in a while," And even with these people, they used to do good content, and then all of a sudden the content just changed, and it was just all on this gossip shit. And then along the way, I met a couple of cool people. Actually, I met a few good people who actually, they're relatively new, and I noticed too with my YouTube, I don't have too many subscribers, but the ones that do subscribe to me are content creators. And I really just think that's phenomenal. A lot of these guys who follow me, they have way more subscribers than I do. And I mean, I just think that shit is incredible. So, you know, I just got to tell you guys, man, you got to mix the medicine with the food. I got this idea from a panel that's going on right now that I just got off. And, they were just telling me about the whole rant last night with me and Obsidian and Q Butter and C Boogie. Forget the other people that were on there, but I was just basically explaining like what we need to do, and I understand that it's too much work. Um, a lot of people on here, they talk about infrastructure all the time. It's just that it hasn't been broken down the way it's supposed to, and there aren't any solutions added to the infrastructure. I mean, I go to some people's panels, and what they do is they talk about, the reason why black people are like this is because of this, and 60% is like this, and I'm like, they're still not getting anyone anywhere. Me, on the other hand, I decided to be more of a lone wolf with the whole situation now. Um, I don't really know what YouTube beef is. I do, but I don't. I don't. I really don't. I'm listening to these motherfuckers in the background. I'm sorry. Um, these motherfuckers, they're not gonna eliminate the YouTube beef. It's never gonna happen. And some people are infatuated with it. I noticed that some people are highly upset behind the YouTube beef. They're highly upset, but then they love it at the same time. Um, I've accumulated a lot of haters, right? Over nonsense. I've ran into people that I was able to kind of like put out my views, put out my solutions. We've had problems, and it was just based on the way I saw things, the way people are viewed as other races of people, the way biracials are being viewed, the way the community operates, the way other communities operate, things like that. I mean, we all talk about infrastructure. Motherfuckers talk about it so much and they don't even realize that they are. Well, the only problem is they talk about the issues, right? So when we talk about black female fuckery, and we talk about the reason why black people are disproportionately poor and why we have these negative stereotypes, that all falls behind infrastructure. I don't see why people don't understand that. Oh man, I swear to God, I just don't understand it. So, I mean, I appreciate just being on a few of these panels and shit, and that's just really what I wanted to do, just kind of like experience it and see how it was. But then I noticed there's a lot of poison that comes along with it. Fortunately for me, I haven't been a part of the poison to a full aspect. I played the game pretty well, actually. I talked to another prominent YouTuber today, and this is somebody who I guess everybody loves. All the women love him. He's a married man, and first time me and him got on the panel and shit, we had a little conversation. I always known him to be kind of like real intense and angry and shit, and a lot of men didn't get along with him. And all of a sudden, we had this conversation. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, just kind of like dig deeper. But I mean, big ups, man, big ups. So we had this conversation, and it was cool. It was calm and shit, right? After that, it was just mad respect. A lot of these guys, um, you know, I've actually, had a lot of conversations with them, over the past 3 months, and shit been kind of fly, right? Now, I was also asked by another YouTuber, and he was like, "Man, you got some cool videos. Why you haven't posted, videos in a while?" And it's because of this crazy transition that I was going through, and some of it was good, some of it was bad, and in the meantime, I still wanted to kind of like have a presence. So, I kind of ended off my season 3 saying that I was going to do this documentary, which I'll have it out soon. But you know, what I try to do is just mix the medicine with the food. You know, I noticed with my previous videos when I used to talk about simple interest calculations, underwriting processes, and trying to avoid getting into certain interest loans because the calculations fall into mortgage, home equity, um, it falls into even auto loans. I broke down a lot of shit. I broke down balloon payments because I've worked for the bank. I worked in corporate America for a while now. I want to say about 9 years, right? So even before that, like I worked for child support. I worked for child support for 5 years. So for me being a single black man and just having the thought process that I have, it just comes from a lot of experiences. Like I never came on YouTube just to get up here and talk shit. I mean, a lot of these guys, they actually understood it. I mean, I've had people ask me questions about interest rates and mortgage loans, and last night I've seen and asked me because he mentioned that he was into mechanics, and he asked me what was I doing, and I told him, that I'm into underwriting. Started off as processing, got into underwriting, and I am a genius at it. Even servicing, I'm a genius at it. So I've been on panels where motherfuckers was asking me about, um, balloon payments. They were asking me about, fixed rates, locking in fixed rates, and I'm telling them about, the variable rate and, how it's based on prime. And right now, the job, well, not the job market, but the house market is a little stagnant, so the interest rate is not going to fluctuate too much. I explained to them about certain areas where you live in because, being an underwriter, there's a lot of appraisals that are done. And sometimes a lot of these people don't get these loans because of the area that they stay in. Houses are cheaper depending on where you are. But with an appraisal, it identifies that house versus what is actually the standard in those particular areas. So just say if you have a nice house in the ghetto, in a fucked up community, right? The bank can easily deny that loan just based off the zip code, just based off the area itself. So what I have done, just putting in that extra work, I would actually consider different additions that are added to the home, the upkeep of the home, because we always have this stigma in the black community of course, moving to certain areas, the property value goes down because black people feel like they've made it out of the hood, and white folks, sometimes they may feel like, okay, well, they're gonna bring the property value down because every day they're gonna be out barbecuing, blasting their music, etc., etc. This is why I always had the problem with a lot of people's views on YouTube. Flood zones and homeowners insurance. I calculate escrow into payments. I'm a pro at it. I noticed previously when I've done videos on it, when I push out the simple interest, because I noticed just dealing with a lot of acquisitions, and I won't keep this too long, but I just noticed with a lot of acquisitions from previous banks, a lot of people are paying like interest only, interest only, on a 30-year loan, and then on the contract there's just small print that says paying the minimum balance at the end of the term does not pay down the loan, so they're stuck with a balloon payment. It's mostly black people I've had that problem with, and a lot of these banks are just small banks and credit unions. So, it's always been important to me just speaking to the black folks that I was able to speak to throughout the years who had loans over $250,000. I showed them everything they needed to know. I made sure that they knew that I was proud of them, right? And that's just how I feel. So, like last night, uh, just listening to what everybody else said, and I felt it too, just being on the panel. Um, there were only two people up there who are really passionate about the community. Is it worth it anymore? I don't know, man. I just noticed that there's a lot of fuckery on YouTube. I noticed that there's a lot of gossip on YouTube, and people indulge in it. Um, it would never bother me unless it got personal, and it has gotten personal with me um, three times. Right, the first one was definitely legitimate. It took for RBR to get a little more personal before I just completely cut him off, right? The second one was personal too, and that one it just got to the point where I would taunt and taunt and taunt so much to the point where this motherfucker isn't really saying shit about me, so I'll just go ahead and just wait till this motherfucker say something, and that'll be it, right? Um, the third one was someone who I had, sort of a liking for. Didn't really watch him too much. I just like this internet savvy. I like this tech savvy, and just his marketing, his brand, right? But then he had some stupid shit to say about me for keeping the peace, and that beef was resolved. But I still don't fuck with certain people because of their views on certain things. So I don't get a lot of people, man, anymore. I was called a weirdo, right? I was called a dumbass and a lot of things, but I just noticed when I look at it from the outside looking in or even from the inside looking out, it's not me. And I had to realize that, just over the time. It's almost like The Last Dragon. If you watch The Last Dragon, here it is, Bruce Leroy at the beginning. He caught the arrow, and the master told him, "Hey, you can't study here anymore. Go and find the master." All of this time he's going on this fucking trip, come to find out that he was the master the whole time. There's a lot of show notes in YouTube, big time, and they come in all different shades of color. They come in different genders. There's some fucking show notes out here, man. And I know how they work. I see them, and I've played around with them. Um, but if I was to go too far into a lot of things that I say, I think a lot of people would kind of they would agree, but they would kind of grind their teeth. They would grind their teeth a lot. So I've been the type of person to kind of like keep my mouth shut and not say too much. But when we talk about certain things, sometimes I really do get passionate. It's not about me, being the one who's the truthful one and no one can debunk me, anything. Like, it's not that at all. I'll sit down and listen to somebody. And I noticed that, with YouTube, it is definitely a big, large popularity contest. So, this is the beginning of my season 4, right? Um, this is just literally season 4 at this point. And I have a lot of things that'll be planned. A lot of things are in the works. Um, this whole Black Avengers shit, I'm still looking at it, still thinking about it. I actually got a chance to talk to a couple of people who fuck with Black Avengers, and it doesn't seem like it almost seems like an infiltration, right? It seems like here it is. You got on this end. You got the black manosphere, and the black manosphere is getting, ran through by the black conscious community because they have a bigger crowd, and the way the black manosphere looks, you got a lot of red pill, and there's virtually no red pill brothers in the black conscious community. And then there's the gossip community as well. There's the fun and games community in the black sector of YouTube, where these guys, they dox people and they talk about people, and you know, you see a lot of people that is entertained by that shit. And I played the game pretty cool with these panels, man. I played the game real good. Um, and I did it with a good intention. So I appreciate everything that has happened within the past few months of me doing it. So we're gonna get back to work, and we're gonna mix the medicine in with the food. We're definitely gonna do that. So let me get up out of here because I got some things I gotta do, and I hit my dog running around and shit. So we'll see what the fuck is going on with that. She's moving around a little too much. So then I got these motherfuckers over here talking and shit. So you guys be cool, man. Sam Sim. Peace.